Jay is with me, Jay Horton. And Jay is a Navy veteran from Alabama who moved to Los Angeles to pursue a career in Hollywood. He attended Politicon here in Los Angeles over the weekend, debating fellow attendees about immigration, minimum wage, and women leading the homes. He called himself, quote unquote, a raging liberal. Really?
Yes, sir. And I'd say that because at this point I'm pissed off, and I'm not only pissed off with the Republicans, about 90% pissed off with the Republicans. I'm also pissed off with my own party, the Democrats, so-called liberals, progressive people, for pretty much getting their ass handed to them over and over again by the Republicans when it comes to proliferation of ideas, the rise of Fox News.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
And so you're from Alabama?
Originally from Alabama. I've lived in a couple of different places. Growing up, I moved back and forth between Maryland and Alabama.
What part of Alabama?
A place called Tuscumbia is where Helen Keller's from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's northern Alabama.
Are you mixed race?
Yes, partially.
And what's the deal? Your mother is white, your father's black, or father's black, mother white?
My mother's mixed, and my father's black. They're both mixed. They're both mixed with certain things. My father's mixed with Native American. My mother's mixed with white.
With white. Mm-hmm. And so you moved to L.A. to get into the acting.
Yes, I moved from New York City actually. After I was honorably discharged from the Navy, I moved to New York to study theater and drama and that type of thing.
And so. You're a liberal. You're a raging liberal, right?
Raging liberal.
Are you a Christian?
Left. No, I'm an agnostic.
Or are you?
Yes, sir.
And why is that?
I actually grew up Christian. I'm from Alabama. My grandfather was a minister. I've read the Bible twice. I went to Mars Hill Bible School. I'm very familiar with the Christian doctrine and the Christian way. It just seems to me that there are so many contradictions, and there are just a million reasons to sort of not buy into a dogma that was written thousands of years ago in some desert by some guys that we're not even sure
some
actually
desert
existed.
by some guys.
Uh-huh.
And so do your grandfather know that you've turned away from God?
He unfortunately passed away, and this was before, I guess you could say that I turned from God, or just, in my opinion, just let go of certain lifestyle choices.
Were you raised by father and mother in a home together?
Yes.
And are they Christians?
No, my father is a PhD scientist, and he goes to church. He subscribes, but I guess you could call them traditional Christians. Yeah, but we're not as what's the word? Dedicated as you would consider most Christians. You know, they I guess they would subscribe to that. Yeah.
They were hypocrites.
Not hypocrites. Because like I said, in Alabama, you know, it's sort of expected to go to church in certain communities because of a lot of discrimination against people who are not Christian. You know, atheists and things like that. You know, so there was a lot of pressure. So I think that just set up habits. You know, to go to church, and not that they don't believe in Christianity. It's just maybe churches somewhere that they might find great people, you know, like, you know.
Are you, so you don't believe that there is a God?
I believe that there is a God, just not necessarily the one depicted in the King James Bible. I believe that this world is way too complicated and complex not to have some type of intelligent design. I just don't believe it was...
So if he is not the God of the Christian Bible, what type of God do you believe there is?
Well, see, that's the thing. As a human being, I don't believe I have the capacity to know that. I don't believe anybody knows for sure. And so since I don't know for sure that there can be a God, and there's no actual evidence besides, like I said, books written thousands of years ago by men in the desert, that I'm not the type of person to just subscribe to an idea without actual evidence. So I believe that there is a God. There's over 2,000 different deities worshipped in the world, you know, from the Christian Judeo religions to pagan religions to, you know, so I'm not going to just because I grew up with a specific idea, I'm not going to subscribe to that just because that's what's been sort of shoved down my throat since I was a kid. So,
Are you smarter than the men of thousands of years ago?
well, I don't know. I think that's that's sort of a tough question. I mean, like, how do you measure smart? I mean, I'm sure that they were very skilled in things that I'm not skilled in now, and vice versa. You know, I wouldn't say that I'm smarter. I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say. It's tough to comment on somebody's, you know, adeptness about 2,000 years ago. I mean, I don't know. That's a tough question.
How old are you?
28.
You're 28. So have you appeared in any movies or anything at this point?
Yeah, a couple TV shows, small roles. There's a show called Louie. A lot of people are familiar with that. I had a co-star on that. There's a show that was discontinued called Golden Boy. Been in a lot of commercials. Done some fitness modeling. Just had sort of a small career. So far.
Okay. Well, good. I wish you well with that, though.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a tough field now.
It really is, man.
But you can do it if
really
you hang
is.
in there.
Yeah.
One other question about God. Are you resentful that God was shoved down your throat while growing up?
No, not at all. It's you know how it is around the world. You're born into a certain place, and you know whatever doctrine is, you know, the most, you know, abundant there. That's what you get. I'm not resented at all. It didn't put me on a bad path at all. As a matter of fact, I think I did, you know, get some great morals and great lessons that I'm not disowning Christianity or saying Christianity
Right,
is in any way. You know,
Yeah, you're just
but
not
it's
sure.
Yeah, right. Of course, I'm not.
Where do you
think
get your
anybody is.
Where do you get your values from?
My values from, I believe as human beings, we have natural empathy. I feel like you look at science and they measure what's called like a mirror neurons, and that's just the ability to look at something and to be able to identify and to be able to know that if I was going through this particular experience, then I wouldn't like it. So I'd say just through my own DNA, you know, like I think most people, even, you know, before, you know, Jesus Christ or any other religion had
But most people,
a sense of morality.
many people, if not most, don't have values today.
I disagree.
Why is that? Why do you disagree?
I've had a lot of experience. So I've met people, Muslim, Jewish. I've met great. I mean,
I said
atheists.
that's why I said
actually,
most, not all, but
actually, if
most.
you look at prisons, it shows that the prison population is 99% religious. You know, maybe 1% of them are atheists.
I would be
agnostic,
religious too if I was in prison. You know, I'd be praying to get out of there.
Right. Well, I mean, even prior to, you know, religious, you know.
You know what I mean?
I don't think religion in any way sets up a structure of moral values or.
You don't think it does?
Actually, no. Okay, I'll walk that back. I believe it does.
Right.
But I don't believe that it's the only thing. I mean, there's a lot of secular countries. There's a lot of secular communities that have better morals and have better crime rates and have better values, in my opinion. Than
I agree with you that there are secular people with no values.
And there are Christian
And there are
people
Christian
with no
people
values.
with values.
And no values.
Well, they're not Christians if they have no values.
Well, they call themselves Christians.
Right. I mean,
you know?
it's easy to say you're a Christian, but if you have no values, then you're not a Christian.
Well, to me, what a Christian is somebody who accepts Jesus Christ as the Son of God and
But live that way.
What's that?
And they live that way.
Well, I mean, if you look at what's going on in the whole world, you know, a lot of Christians are not living that way.
And that's a
the
problem.
majority of Christians are, to me, aren't. I can't say that.
Yeah, you don't know
if
a majority of them.
but
Yeah.
I'd say most of the fundamental Christians that I meet I mean, believe in war, believe in guns, believe in, you know, a certain amount of violence. You know, like quote unquote necessary violence in which
Fundamental Christians are the best.
What's that?
Fundamental Christians are the best.
I mean, I think that's objective. I disagree. I feel like anything fundamental in its core is sort of just the worst thing to happen to a logical and critically thinking society. You know, like when you follow dogma, when you follow something by, especially something that was written 2,000 years ago, where they definitely were sacrificing people, or they were.
They are sacrificing people today.
How so?
Abortion.
Well, the Bible is for abortion. Numbers 5:11 through 21.
We're going to get to all of that. When I come back, I want to know, my first thing is, why do you call yourself a raging liberal?
Raging.
After this break.
Sure.
Wait till we come back.
All right.
888-775-3773. Back in a moment. Okay, folks, welcome back. 888-775-3773. Jay Horton is with me. He called himself a raging liberal.
Yes.
Why do you call yourself that?
Because I've had it up to here with the shenanigans going on, with all the bureaucracies running our country, with Washington. Just like I guess the other side is fed up. And I feel like the left in particular I'm angry with because they haven't been able to get their message out the same way that the right has with, Fox News. Not that I'm saying what Fox News is doing is correct. I just feel like we've been unable to match them in their tactics when it comes to marketing, when it comes to proliferation of ideas. So that's one reason why I'm raging, but that's only about 10%.
But
90% is for the right.
Liberal mean big government, right?
No, liberal
it
means,
does.
No, of course not. Look at the word liberal.
Is Obama a liberal? Would you consider Obama as being a liberal?
I say he's very centrist. He's more on the liberal side, but he's a corporatist to me, like Bill Clinton, like Hillary Clinton. Like I mentioned earlier, I was a big fan of Bernie Sanders, but he's more liberal and to the point where liberal means to me, liberal doesn't mean big government. Liberal means giving. Liberal, to be liberal with resources, to be liberal with policies, and not to be conservative, meaning like to conserve old ideas, to conserve resources.
What more do you need from Obama in order to know that he is a far left, way out there liberal?
Honestly, less cooperation. At this point, it's kind of tough because he's at the end of his term. A long time ago, I would have had a list, So at this point, I think it's sort of irrelevant what I want from at this point. But what I want from him is to break up the banks. What I want from him is an infrastructure bill. What I want from him is a solid healthcare bill, meaning a single payer, as opposed to the individual mandate, which was actually a Republican idea. Championed by Bob Dole and Mitt Romney, which is, keeping the private healthcare industry intact.
But don't you think the banks would have broken up naturally had not we gotten involved with them, and the government had not saved them?
Saved them?
Yeah.
No, of course not. I feel like
the government bailed out the banks.
The banks. I feel like if you look at economics, if you look at the what happened with the when Bill Clinton took away Glass-Steagall, it allowed banks to gamble with our money. It allowed for there to be no difference between a commercial bank and an investment bank. And in no way do I believe that the banks are our keepers or our our.
So you support Bernie Sanders?
Definitely,
because he's like way out there.
Yeah, well, he's out there, but actually, all of his policies, the American people agree with. All of his.
Well, the liberal American people agree with, not conservatives.
No. Well, I mean, I'm talking about the majority of American people. When you look at the polls on his issues,
these are Democrats. These are liberal Democrats.
A lot of them are Democrats. A lot of them are Republicans. He's actually doing really well with certain Republicans and people on the fence, and he's had almost a fraction of the media attention that everybody else is getting. He's surging the most. That just shows that his message is very populist. It's reading with the American people.
Well, the one thing I noticed about Bernie Sanders, he's doing well at brainwashing young people.
I'd say the opposite. I
and
feel like he's doing well at telling
that,
the truth.
The reason he's able to do that because young people today lack morality, they lack common sense, and they think that people should take care of them. And
I disagree. That's a very simplistic way of thinking.
The rich.
If you look, he's doing very well with college educated.
No, they're dummies.
College educated youth. I mean, I mean, if you call
You're right about
college
that.
educated youth dummies, I mean, like
Yeah,
to me,
they
that's
are.
just a remedial statement because I feel like the idea of college is to become educated.
Right, but they've been brainwashed instead of
I
being
disagree.
educated.
I feel like it's the other way around. They have facts, studies, statistics, surveys behind every single point in his economic and social platforms, and the left is just nothing but sound bites, repetitive speech, and witty sayings that have no actual basis in fact.
So you disagree that public universities are brainwashing the youth today? They're not educating them?
100%. 100%. I feel like public universities are what drives competition, entrepreneurship, innovation. If you look around the world, the countries that have the best competitive economies have the best education. Like, why would you...
Do you support abortion?
Do I support abortion? No, I don't support abortion. I support the right to choose for abortion. And like I said...
You believe that a woman should have the right to kill a child in her womb?
To kill a fetus. And there's a difference.
You believe that
because
she should have the right to take the life of an unborn child?
in my opinion, because after 20 weeks, the nervous system isn't developed until the 20th week. So up until that point, they don't
So
even
give
feel
me a
pain.
yes or no first. You believe that a woman should have the right to take the life of a child in her womb?
Yes, but I would alter that in a way that I would say it's well, okay, yeah, yes. My answer is yes.
And who gave her the right to do that?
They gave her the herself, and like I mentioned before, if you
I'm
read,
sorry, who gave her the right to do it?
I'm not understanding.
Who gave her the right to take the life of a child?
I'd say Roe versus Wade. The
law gave her the right.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
not, and it's to me,
I
it's
agree
not
with you.
the life because.
The law of the land gave her the right to do that, right?
But if you look at Numbers chapter 5, 11 through 21 in the Bible,
But you don't
it
believe in the
actually-
Bible.
it
You think
actually
that a bunch
advocates-
of dumb old men did that. So why you quote the scriptures?
because for the people who are,
But you
who-
don't
people-
believe
for-
in it.
I know, but
So why
for the people
quote
who
something
are,
that you don't believe in?
if you, I'm explaining that to you. If I quote that because the people who are making a case that abortion is wrong are citing the Bible, are citing Christian doctrine, and what I'm saying is, even if you use your own doctrine and your own ideology, abortion is not only accepted; it's encouraged in the Bible.
But you can't quote the Bible. You can't even mention the Bible because you don't believe that the
I
Bible
don't
is
see
real.
that.
So what you're doing,
I consider myself
what you're doing is making a mockery of the Bible.
No, of course no. I'm stating exactly what it says, giving you the chapter and the verses.
why
I'm not
state
making
it?
a mockery. If making a mockery, I don't see how you take that. I myself study plenty of religions. Like I said, I read the Bible twice. I've read bits of the Quran and its hadiths. I've looked into.
So you say that the Bible supports abortion.
Yes, it does.
And where is that?
Numbers chapter 5, verses 11 through 21.
What does it say?
It's a lot of verses. I mean, it's going to be hard, but I can give you the gist of
Right.
it. Basically, it says, if your wife is unfaithful to you, you take her to a priest in which he would actually concoct a bitter water. And that bitter water will deflate her womb if she had been unfaithful. If she had been faithful, then she will give birth.
But most of these women who are having abortion are not even married.
Exactly. This is important. It says that if she didn't have the baby, then her womb, it says that her womb shall deflate and her thigh shall rot. That means that she shall miscarry, and that's not only done by a priest. That's encouraged by God. Look it up. Numbers chapter 5, verses 11 through 21.
But most women having abortions now are doing it because a child would get in their way. And so they're doing it. They're taking the lives of the unborn children because they're very selfish.
That's generalization. There's
No, that's
thousands
true.
of women who go through abortions that have plenty of different reasons. I'm sure you
Right,
can
but they're all
take that
selfish
specific. I mean, that's your opinion.
No,
In my opinion,
it's a fact.
It's not a fact.
No,
I mean,
it
that's,
is.
That
It's a
is-
fact. Do you support same-sex marriage?
Of course.
You do. So you support homosexuality?
I mean, how do you support
You
homosexuality?
think homosexuality is normal or
Yes,
abnormal?
it is scientifically proven to be connected to
What?
genetics. That's a fact.
So you think that it's normal?
Yeah, in the animal kingdom, in the human world, like homosexuality is.
But human beings are not animals.
But I'm just saying, like you
Yes,
asking if
so
you
you
asking me
can't
if it's
compare it
normal.
to.
You asking me if it's
expect an
normal.
animal to act that way, but not a human being.
Well, I think in a lot of ways, human beings are animals.
So are you saying that the homosexuals who are doing this are animals?
No. I think you're trying to guide my words into a specific premise.
Back in a
That's not what
moment,
I said.
folks. We'll pick up on this on the other side of the break.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, welcome back. I am Jesse Lee Peterson, taking your phone calls at 888-7753-773. Talking to Jay Horton, and Jay is pursuing an acting career in Hollywood here. He is from Alabama. You have a website, anything you want to give out?
I have not that I need support or anything, but if you look at IMDb, you can look at all my credits and things like that. Just type in Jay Horton. But as of now, I don't have a personal website. No.
What is a man?
What is a man?
Uh-huh.
I feel like that's a word that gets misconstrued among every single different type of person who's trying to get an agenda pushed, whether it be women.
What do you
religious
believe
people.
a man is?
I believe a man is just a person who lives up to his responsibilities.
And
you
what
have a
are his
responsibility? You take care of that responsibility. You're a man.
What are his responsibilities?
Depends on what he does in his life. You have, you take care of yourself. I mean, that's one thing. Your responsibility is take care of yourself, your family. If you if you have a family, you do what you need to do to take care of them. And I mean, I don't get caught up in the.
So you're not sure what a man is?
No, I believe that there's a Webster definition of a man that you could take,
No, but
a lot
you
of people
personally-
would disagree with that description. I'm sorry,
But Jay, what
personally, like I just
Yeah.
told you, somebody who takes care of his responsibilities.
are you a man?
I believe so.
You're not sure?
I believe so. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not perfect. It's hard to. I think everybody has a bunch of gripes with themselves as far as things they would like to do. But yes, I believe I'm a man.
But you're not sure about it?
Okay. I mean, if that's where
You don't
okay,
sound
I'm
as though
sure.
you're sure that you're a man.
Well, I don't like to I don't go around beating my chest and getting up in the tough talk saying I'm a man. And I mean, I just like to do unto others as I'd like to be done to myself. I don't make proclamations that are just sort of irrelevant to day-to-day life. I mean, whether I believe I'm a man is just is irrelevant to what I'm doing and what's actually going on. So I'm not. That's not something I subscribe to. Like that whole be a man, don't be a man. You're not. I mean,
So you don't really care about being a man or not?
Well, if you tell me your definition of what being a man is, I can kind of tell you whether or not I care about.
But I mean, I'm trying to understand how you think and where you get your ideas from. So you don't personally care about being a man or not?
Well, tell me your definition. When
as
you
far
say
as
that,
the
when
way
you say
that you see a man, as your
I feel
definition
like-
of a man.
I feel like I take care of my responsibilities. That's simple as that. I feel like
Do you
women.
feel
I feel like
that
women will
it's
try
wrong to say that you're a man?
No.
Is it wrong for men to admit and be men?
But again, like I said, you'd have to explain your definition of a man when you're asking me
Because
these
you
questions.
said
because
you
I don't-
believe that you are, rather than saying yes, you are. And then you went on about beating the chest and carrying on about that.
Well, that's big.
Is there something wrong with being a man and saying that you are
in what in
the
my,
whole
through
way?
my definition
Yeah,
of taking care of my responsibilities? Of course, yeah. I think it's very important you take care of your responsibilities.
but shouldn't men? Is it wrong for men to act and be men?
I'm still. Is it wrong for men to act and take care of their responsibilities?
It's more to being a man
Because
than
I'm
just
telling you
taking
my
care of your
definition. So
responsibilities.
for us to have this conversation,
So do you
would have
think
to
that
tell
the,
me,
do you think that the
you have to
only
provide some quick
responsibility
context.
do you think that the only responsibility of a man is to take care of responsibilities?
I think you're asking me what I believe a man is, and I'm telling you I believe a man is somebody who takes care of his responsibilities.
I believe that a man is one. Not that I believe. I know that a man is one. Let me first ask: do you believe that Donald Trump is a man?
Do I believe that? Yeah, he's a man.
And what made you believe that Donald Trump is a man?
In my definition?
Yeah.
Through my definition, I mean, he has a family, he has responsibilities that he takes care of.
He's outspoken. He has. He's outspoken. 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 He's
I mean, I don't
He
fit
has no
that into the
fear.
definition. I mean, anybody can be. You don't have to be outspoken.
He has
to
no
be,
fear.
No. I mean, fear. I mean, that is totally.
A
to
man
me,
doesn't have fear.
I disagree. I feel like fear is something that's necessary. I feel like
No.
I feel
Why
like
do you feel that way?
because you would die without fear.
No, fear hold you back.
No, fear is putting your fear. No fear is putting your hand on a stove and keeping it there because you're not afraid what's going to happen. No,
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
not talking about.
to be fearless. I mean, I also believe in being smart. Like to say you have no fear. I mean, that's just living in a.
I have no fear.
You have no fear, so you would walk into oncoming traffic.
No, that's common sense not to do that.
No, I mean, if you weren't afraid anything would happen,
But
you would
that's
walk
not
into
what
oncoming traffic with no fear.
That's common sense. Let me just tell you what a man is. A man is a male who loves what's right with all his heart, soul, and might more than anything or anybody else
I believe that's
on
your
the
opinion.
earth. A man leads the way without being told.
I
A
disagree.
man is the strength of
There's
his.
plenty of
if
men
he
who
has
follow.
a
What about all
family-
the soldiers and things like that who are following orders, who are doing what their their subordinates tell them?
A man would do that.
Yeah.
But that's
you're
part of
saying
being
a
a man.
man is somebody who automatically leads. I
And-
believe that there are certain people who are leaders and certain people are not. Just because somebody's not a leader doesn't necessarily mean that they're not a man. And just because somebody's afraed,
A
I
man
mean, there's a lot
is
of things to
if
fear
he has
in
a
this
family,
world.
he's the head of his wife.
Exactly. And having
you
a
agree to
family,
that?
to me, I mean,
Do you agree that a man is the head of his wife?
is ahead of his wife in what way?
Period. Always.
Of course not.
You don't believe that?
That's silly to me.
Why is that silly to you?
I'll tell you why. Because when you look at the numbers, and we were talking about college earlier, we look at the numbers. Women graduate 33% more than men, meaning a third of the people in college are men and 2/3 are women.
Only
And-
because society is catering to women and
God,
deliberately holding men
There's
back.
nothing to support that.
There's
There's
everything
nothing
to support. Let me
that.
go back to something.
That's emotional. That's emotional pandering to me.
The one thing I do want you to know
Because I know
that
plenty of women. I've traveled across the world. I've met single women who run their own households. I've met lesbian couples who live in it and who have no idea of them. I know one of them, and I've met women who make more money and who are smarter than their
Only
husbands.
because
And
society is holding
in those
men back.
situations, I don't see how your point
society
is
is holding men back. That's why these women are doing that.
I disagree. I feel like men are. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, there's a
The
lot.
one
of
thing I do want to tell you, though,
reasons.
that you can be a leader without being at the head of an organization. A man that leads is not necessary in the military. He got to follow the commandment of the order of the military. But a man is not a liberal. Any man that says that he's a liberal is a woman.
Well, that sounds silly. That's just. I mean, I can't. I mean, like, I'm a very logical person. I like
No,
to look
you're
at
not. If you
stats,
think that a man can
facts,
be a
and statistics.
liberal-
I could say that to you. I could say you're
Only
a
women are-
racist conservative.
Only women are
Does
liberal.
that mean it's true because I said that you're a racist conservative that is a sellout? I mean,
But-
does that
no.
mean it's true?
You know
I mean,
why
you can
it's
say
not
anything
true?
like that. I mean, like that's just sort of
Okay, we'll be back. Back in a moment.
All right.
Okay, what I want to do is move a little faster because I want to get to some calls for you.
Sure.
888-775-3773. So during the break, you say you believe that a mother and a son who are both consenting adults should have the right to marry if they want to.
Like I said, I'd advise against it for the social ramifications and things of that nature, but I'm not.
Would you also advise against homosexuals getting married, even though
No,
they can
not,
if they
no,
want?
because
Why not?
To me that's a totally, as you've seen in the political spectrum and in society, that is a lot more accepted.
No, it's not accepted. Most people do not accept it.
59% of the American people
Not true.
accept that is true. Look
If
that up.
they-
Look that statistic
if-
up right now.
if most of
59%,
the
and it's
people-
growing.
If most of the people accepted it, why did they have to go through the courts to get it done rather than
Because
the
that's how
people
laws are
voting on
made.
it?
That's how laws are made.
No, the U.S. Supreme Courts are not there. The courts are not. The U.S. Supreme Court is not there to make laws.
That's exactly what they're the judicial branch. They're there to regulate
there
laws
to make law?
say the specific job of the Supreme Court is to tell whether or not a law is constitutional, to judge whether or not a law is constitutional.
No, they didn't do that.
They
said
exactly
it was okay for homosexual marriage.
If you know civics, if you look at civics, that's exactly what the Supreme
You're
Court
against
does.
gun control, right?
Against gun control?
You are for gun control.
Of course.
You are for, and why is that?
Because it's obvious. There's shooting after shooting, and there's a proliferation of guns. We have the highest amount of gun deaths in the world, and it's out of control. I mean, even after Sandy Hook, 88% of the American people agree we at least should have some form of gun control. I mean, if you have guns everywhere, the more. I mean, to me that's just common sense. The more guns, the more easy it is for there to be a lot more killings. And
had the people in Roseburg, Oregon, had one other person had a gun in the classroom, would the killer been able to kill as many people as he did?
If one other person had the gun?
Had a gun.
In that classroom?
Yes.
He actually wasn't in one classroom. He went among other places.
Yeah,
and there was somebody
was
somebody who had a gun.
There,
and if you look at what happened with that person, I'm answering your question. If you look at what happened to that person, they didn't do anything because they didn't want to be confused when the SWAT team came in, or they didn't want to risk the chance of shooting somebody else, or they didn't want to be confused as the gunman. So having this whole gun-free zones, the argument holds no water.
But that wasn't inside the classroom.
He wasn't just in one classroom.
But no, this person with the gun that you're talking about wasn't inside the classroom.
He knew where the gunman was. He was on the campus.
Let's say the teacher had been armed inside the classroom.
I believe
would the killer been able to line the people up?
Who knows? What if the teacher was a bad shot?
Christians?
What if the teacher was a bad shot?
No, that's ridiculous. If they were
no, it's not. I've been to the gun range. I've seen many people shoot. It's really hard to shoot a weapon with precision. It's not like the movies where it's like, oh, bam, 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 I got a pistol, you're dead. No, you're holding a cannon in your hand.
Let me ask you a question.
Just because she had a gun.
Had the teacher
and if she had the gun, I feel like she would have probably been killed first. The person would have known that.
But that's just a feeling. You don't have an
So is yours. So is yours.
But there was nobody
That's a feeling
armed.
that you're saying that if the teacher had a gun. Yes, it is, because you can't say that for sure. You can't say if the teacher had a gun, he would have known that, and would have probably shot her first. I mean, we can go into imagination land all you want to,
hold on. Had there been a teacher, at least a teacher armed in that classroom,
I don't believe you should arm educators.
That
I don't believe every single educator
would not have been able to line people up, talk to them by asking if you are a Christian or not, and then kill them.
I don't believe having a teacher having a gun, because if you have to look at what you would do if you armed all the teachers, you would proliferate guns throughout the education system. And educators don't want to be armed. They don't think like you do, where they fantasize about being in a situation where they have to pull out a gun and shoot. Some teachers actually just want to teach and not have to.
Did you go to a university?
No, I didn't.
You didn't go to college at all? Mm-mm. So your father taught you to think this way?
No, I'd say just I'm a very curious person.
But you're looking in all the wrong directions.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at empirical evidence.
Your curiosity
actually
is not being satisfied.
No, my curiosity is satisfied every single day as I look through studies and facts about gun control that show that the more guns you have, the less safe you are. Look at the states with the least strict gun controls. They're all red states like Alabama, Louisiana, Kentucky. They have the highest gun deaths.
Let's go to the phone.
If more guns,
that's not true. What you just said.
That is true.
But
look it up. Do you have a way to fact check?
Yeah.
Okay, look it up.
Let me
look
go
up
to
the
the
highest states with gun deaths.
We run out of time. Let me go to the phone. We'll have you back. You're interesting.
That'd be great.
Okay.
I'd love to come back.
Let's go to the Bible go-to guy out of Los Angeles. You're on with Jay. Good morning, sir. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for taking my call. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. Jay, let's see, where do I start here? Your definition of a man is in how you explained the mother-son relationship. Did you not say that you advise against mother-son marriage?
I did say that, yes.
Okay, and did you not say that the reason why you do advise because of what other people think?
Oh, no, because of social ramifications, and not necessarily just but what other people think, what could actually happen in the workplace, what could happen. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Social ramifications is just a fancy term for meaning what other people think.
I disagree, because ramifications actually have consequences. What other people think are just what other people think. And I think that
Yeah,
there
well,
could be
other people act on their thinking, and so that's why there's ramifications.
sometimes, but when the situation is that there's more people that are accepting of a specific idea like same-sex marriage,
of a perversion.
that's your opinion. That's your opinion.
Yeah, you see,
Is there a difference between men and women?
Of course.
What's the difference? Other than physical, what's the difference?
Oh, with another than physical?
Uh-huh.
I think it's just purely physical.
And so,
wow.
Everything else about you is like a woman.
Everything else about me is like
Yeah,
a
because
woman?
you said that there's no difference, right? Other than
Are you
physical,
saying-
there's no
are you-
difference.
are
Are you
you-
saying that everything else about you is like a woman?
No,
Well,
not
then
at all. I
what's
think you're saying
different?
that.
What's different about you than a woman?
What's different about me than like you said, it's physical differences.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Everything else about you is like a
Wow.
woman.
Yeah, you tell me. Like if I'm wrong, then you
Jesse, I
educate me.
rest my
Educate
case.
me. What
All
besides what besides
Thank you, sir.
physicality is
I
different?
appreciate
Thank
it. All right. Back in a moment.
All right.
Andre, put my book up for me. I want to remind the folks, November 24th will be the release date of my brand new book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. You can pre-order the book by going to Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, bookstore, WorldNet Daily, or to my website, bondinfo.org. Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. So give me a quick yes or no, Jay, and then I want to go and squeeze in a few more calls here in the few minutes we have left.
Sure.
You're saying that other than the physical, you as a male is just like a woman.
No,
What's different?
because that
What's different? Real fast.
premise,
What's different then?
Physical differences.
Other than the physical, is there anything else about you?
which female?
That's different?
Which female?
Female, period.
Well, I don't take that because there are different. There's a whole spectrum
So
of different
you-
females. There are a lot of females who are exactly like men, and there's a lot of females who are on the other side and they're very feminine.
So you're
There's a
saying
lot
that
of,
for you,
the
though-
Army Ranger course
For
just
you-
produced two women. I'd say I'm a lot like them in certain
So
ways because
for you, other than the physical, you're just like a woman.
what woman?
Woman, period. You're just like some women.
Like
You're like some
some women
women.
who are like men.
No. I'm talking about. You're not gonna answer that. Hey, let's go to Chris out of North Carolina. Chris, you're on with Jay. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey.
I just wanted to talk because, he's talking about empirical evidence and everything like that about the gun control. And right after Sandy Hook, the amount of guns bought in America, the empirical evidence that he's talking about
Yes.
directly goes against what he's saying.
I agree with
Because
you.
more
It
guns were
rose.
bought after Sandy Hook
And that's because
than any
people
other
thought they were
time
going
in
to
America.
be exactly, and you were 100% right about that. Which is a reason I think that we should have gun control because mass shootings have become profitable. Gun makers come in and they pay lawmakers to keep these laws in place.
That
And
directly goes against what the American people are saying, though. You're saying the American people want gun control. They don't.
no, they
If
don't.
They wanted it, they wouldn't have purchased
Those
so many
sales
guns.
came from certain factions of American people, not the majority of
And
American
also,
people.
listen, look,
that
real
makes no
quick,
sense.
You talked about life. Look, kids are being indoctrinated every day because the scientific criteria of life actually shows
I'd say
that babies
educated,
are
not
living.
indoctrinated. But
You're not talking about educated people. You're talking about indoctrinated.
No,
people.
it's the fundamental
And
definition
it's not a matter of
of
opinion. The
universities.
scientific criteria of life
Chris.
says that babies are life.
I got
No,
to
it
run.
doesn't.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Jay, thank you so much, man.
No problem.
Are you an emotional, like a woman too? Emotional person like a woman?
Am I emotional like a woman? I think men
No,
men are
yes
emotional.
or no, real fast.
Am I emotional in the way that women are emotional?
Are you emotional like a woman? I got to all those who are going through emotional ups and downs, and for those who have fear and doubt, and for those who worry, who are depressed and want to commit suicide or have tried to commit suicide, for those who are lonely and lost, you just don't know what to do. You pray to God and things still are not working.